I grew up in Anacostia and grew up on Shannon Place, which is one block off of then Nicholas Avenue, now Martin Luther King Avenue.
I was born in what they call a shotgun house on Howard Road at the base of the South Capitol Street Bridge. It was a row of about 6 or 8 homes. Most of the things that we did were available in the neighborhood. The grocery stores, you could walk to the Safeway, you could walk to the theater, you could walk. I mean, you really didn't have to leave the neighborhood.
It was really the feeling of a village. And we were in a village that was sort of capsulized by Morris Road and St. Elizabeth's Hospital and probably Suitland Parkway at more at the top and the river. The rest around us was a segregated white community.
We had boundaries in Anacostia that, and I know that when Mama would say, you can't go to Good Hope Road, that was outside of the boundary. And so we couldn't go to the theaters on Good Hope Road, and the Giant was on Good Hope Road. And so we just didn't do it because our parents told us that you can't go there. That was the boundary. We had to stay within in Anacostia. So we knew where we could go and who we could visit with in those neighborhoods.
The family, my parents, bought their first house, and that was located on Southern Avenue, Southeast, the district line between Southeast and Prince George's County. When my parents bought that house after the war, the Korean War, that is, the neighborhood, the community was totally white. It was a family-oriented, in my world anyway, it was a tight-knit community. Everything was close by. We walked, we biked. I had the bookmobile. It was, to me, a place that nurtured the person who I became.
Going to Burney Elementary School, I was a patrol boy, which meant we were like crossing guards, and we stood on the corner of Sumner and Martin Luther King now, but then Nicholas Avenue, and we would, we're doing our duty. And the buses would come by, and on the bus were young people from the schools that were down, like Anacostia and others that were segregated, white schools, and they would spit out the bus at us and throw rocks. They'd throw things at us. So that was like, we got the message and we learned to survive that.
1954 was an extraordinary year in my life, and I think in the life of the city. I came to understand as I graduated Ann Beers Elementary in 1954 that during that summer, the Supreme Court decision had been, regarding school integration, had been made. And as I look back on it, I knew, and I even knew then, that Washington was the crucible. We were the social experiment. And between June and September of 1954, the schools of Washington, D.C. were integrated, just like that. And so the faculties were integrated, the student bodies were integrated, and it occurred in a period of 3 months, from the date of the Supreme Court decision till the following September, when we all entered integrated schools. There was nothing really that prepared us as students, as pupils, to understand the magnitude of the changes that were occurring. And it just happened. Within a short period of time, I think the term was blockbusted. Real estate agents who saw a chance to make a profit brought black buyers into the community. And as soon as one house was sold, white flight ensued. Within a very, very short period of time, the entire community had changed from a white community to a black community.
And then it became the worst place to go. It became where, oh, you're feared to be over there, to live there, to visit there. Oh, don't go to Anacostia. And then it became, you can't talk to those people in Anacostia. And so the perception of our neighborhood deteriorated.
One reason I got involved in politics was to be able to access resources that could make differences in people's lives. And I do think it came out of the Anacostia experience, where we were sort of disconnected in many ways from the access to the city, as a whole, and things that we could get for our community. That was one of the things that drove me, the fact that I grew up here and I saw the connection and the need for the support of our neighborhood.
What we have to continue to do is, now that they're bringing the dollars back into the neighborhoods, is that the people who are being impacted by these redevelopment have the first right to the development initiatives, to participate, to benefit from it, if not for themselves, but for their children. Because again, this is still Anacostia. This is our neighborhood. The neighborhood is turning white as we speak. But what we have to do, if you want to stay here and live here, you have to invest in its redevelopment initiatives. And so that's what I do now. I make sure that developers who get contracts in any community, it's not just Anacostia, anywhere in this city, I organize the community and make sure that every investment that has public funds, that they use those funds to benefit the local residents and businesses in those neighborhoods.